Anytime you feel like applauding, just go ahead. You're applauding for yourself and you deserve it. The community of the Massachusetts Institute of Technology convenes this morning to I don't speak Spanish this morning. Convenes this morning to honor the recipients of degrees in 2020 and 2021. Go for it. Now I ask that all those on stage and in the audience, please rise to join the corollaries of MIT in singing one verse of the Star Spangled Banner.
So proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the and the home of the brave.
Please be seated. Thank you. It is my privilege to welcome to the stage our guest speaker, Mr. Kealoha Wong of the MIT class of 1999, our alumni, Chief Marshals, Dr. Eric Caulfield and Ms. Charlene Capsanel, members of the MIT Alumni Association Board of Directors, the former student leaders who are serving as class marshals, and the alumni speakers who will offer salutes from the very special classes of 2020 and 2021. And a very special shout out to the members of Kealoha's family who traveled so far to be here for this delightful occasion. Thank you for joining us. Good, delightful morning. It's really wonderful to have you back. The last time I saw some of you, it was March 2020, and a bunch of you had gathered spontaneously right out there, dancing around Killian Court with a 4-foot dispenser of hand sanitizer. I guess some of you remember. You were saying your goodbyes with absolutely no social distancing. I saw that from my office, and trying to accept the fact that you all had to pack up and leave. And then, in late March 2020, I sent a letter to the community to explain that commencement 2020 would have to be online. The letter also said that to make up for the disappointment, we would hold an in-person event whenever that became possible. I must tell you, my prediction was that after a few months, most of you would lose interest in returning. I was extrapolating from my own experience. As I explained at the time, the day before I was set to graduate from my Caracas high school, the city suffered a major earthquake. Buildings collapsed, There were serious casualties, and suddenly it was impossible, physically and emotionally, to hold the traditional graduation ceremony we had all been counting on. It was a tremendous shock and deep disappointment. But months later, when our school offered us a substitute graduation, we were all off somewhere, just focused on other things. So I thought you would feel the same way. I thought you would just not be interested in making the trip back to MIT. Boy, was I wrong. But looking out at all of you today, it is obvious that I was wonderfully, spectacularly mistaken. Today we have more than 2,500 members of the classes of 2020 and 2021. Not to mention thousands of their family and friends. That is truly an incredible turnout. Now, why did I get this so wrong? Because I focused on the graduation part and not on the people. In fact, looking back, what I most remember from that Caracas earthquake is the people around me, family, neighbors, teachers, friends, shaken to the core, but pulling together to help each other with remarkable generosity, fortitude, and kindness. The pandemic has been an earthquake for our whole society, and the aftershocks have gone on for months and years. So it is perfectly predictable, now I see, that after enduring so much shared hardship, of course you wanted to come back together for the party. And we are extremely glad you did. I also have great admiration for a particular strategy many of you followed when MIT had to go remote. To explain this, I need to describe something I know almost nothing about, and that is sourdough bread. Now, I'm told that during lockdown, a great many people, and many of you, began baking this bread. Any sourdough experts out there? Two hands. Some of you will know that to make this bread, you don't use ordinary yeast. You have to cultivate a special sourdough starter, which is a symbiotic colony of yeast and bacteria. You use some of this starter to make your dough rise, and then you save some to use next time. You can even give it away as a gift to get someone else started on the sourdough habit. You can keep the starter going indefinitely, as long as you control the temperature and the humidity, and you feed it 3 times a day. It's kind of like a pet, or maybe a roommate. And it provides a delicious metaphor for how many of you responded when we had to send you away. Instead of going home, many of you chose instead to stay together in little outposts with your classmates all around the world. In effect, you scooped up some of the MIT culture, and you used that starter to cultivate your own little symbiotic colonies, your own small but distinctively tangy versions of MIT. In doing this, I believe you demonstrated in the most wonderful way that MIT culture is precious and powerful, that you can take it anywhere, and that, like most living things, it responds very well to nourishment and loving care. I hope you will take a fresh scoop of that culture with you when you return to your new lives and new adventures. But for the moment, we are simply delighted to have you here. Now, please join me in welcoming the alumni co-presidents of the undergraduate class of 2020, Joaquin Giraldo Laguna and Kayla Voyanal. Please welcome them.
All right, I gotta lower these so I don't look like a bug. This is the first time I'm speaking where I don't have to say, "Can you hear me?" Class of 2020, long time no see. It's crazy to think that we're finally here, together in front of the dome, after nearly 2.5 years. But now I invite you to think back to the very first time that you stepped foot on Killian Court as a first-year student. Who were you then? For me, I was a shy kid from a small, conservative, and an entirely homogenous town in the Midwest. But, like many of you, I was both intimidated and excited by how much I was going to learn over our 4 years. And the biggest lesson that I learned at MIT wasn't how to solve the rocket equation for 801 or synthesis problems for 512. It was how to ask for help, and that asking for help was okay. I learned that collaboration is key, and no matter how dumb I thought my questions were, my peers were always willing to help without judgment, and for the first time in my life, I felt like I belonged. And I know I'm not alone in feeling this. MIT is such a special place. No matter who you are, what your experiences were, where you came from, you would fit in here. You would learn and grow and become the person that you are today. And class of 2020, you are so special. And you've already gone on to do so much since we've seen each other last. You've started jobs, gone to grad school, and some of you have even gotten married. There's no doubt in my mind that our time at the Toot has shaped us into the people we are today. We're shaped by our shared academic experiences and, most importantly, by this unique and vibrant community. So with that, both the quiet, timid first-year student from Montana and the version of myself standing here today would like to thank those who helped me grow into the person I am, and I encourage you to do the same after the ceremony. To my peers, my mentors, my partner, and my closest friends, thank you. I'm so grateful for you. And a special thank you goes to one of my closest friends right now before he finishes our salute to the class, your co-president, Joaquin.
Hi. Thanks so much, Kayla. I love you so much. To everybody, congratulations. It is so nice to see you here again. Kayla's right. We're all special, and MIT is special, and it's transformative. Growing up, I longed to see folks like me triumph, Latino folks triumph, queer folks triumph. And then at MIT, I met these folks almost instantly. Every time I said to myself, could that be me? Like you, perhaps, I thought I was just so incompetent around my first Europe mentor or with a TA at my first office hours. But more often than not, they were patient with me, and they were eager to talk about what excited them. And they weren't monoliths of intelligence. They weren't unfathomable, unreachable. They were nice to me. You were nice to me. You replied to my message at 2 a.m. Yes, I'm still working on this piece at 2, come over. You waited with me my first time in the S-cubed office. You came to my rally, my party, my silly little club meeting. Take a moment to think about all those folks who were there for you, who were nice to you. Our community doesn't have to be so compassionate. It is, though. Our community is also really passionate. It wanted to change the Institute. Our community wanted to protect queer and low-income housing here. It wanted to fight against war, fight against fossil fuel investments. And I know at a certain point, we thought, could we do all these things? Did our community do all these things? Could it, if we're only here for 4, 5 years? But since leaving MIT, I've realized that even if we didn't succeed completely, we got partway there, and then we let younger students take over. We left something behind. We made an impression. Growing up, I longed to see folks like me triumph. At MIT, I realized what triumph meant. We triumph just by passing through this institute, becoming a little closer to who we wish we saw as a kid. We triumph by leaving something behind, a mural for community, a fight for justice, an impression. We triumph by answering the questions of those who come after us. Could this be you? Yes. Thanks so much. Let's do it. We're going to take a quick selfie. Got it? Okay. Yes.
Oh, it just turned on. Okay.
Okay. Smile. Okay. Thank you. Now, please welcome 2020 PhD, Dr. Nicole Moody.
One of the unique, exciting, challenging, and sometimes downright intimidating things about my journey to receive an advanced degree at MIT was that rather than having a set combination of classes or number of credit hours I needed to complete, I was given one simple task: expand the boundaries of human knowledge. I'm laughing because, of course, that task is anything but simple. Graduate alums in the audience, tell me if this sounds familiar. In my journey to complete my oh-so-simple task, projects went in unexpected directions. Some experiments went almost comically awry, and the deadlines that I set in my head weren't quite met. And fellow graduate alums, if that does not sound familiar, I'd like to remind my 2020 peers that this ceremony was supposed to happen in person 2 years ago. Obviously, from my stripy robe and poofy hat, you can see that just like you, I made it through. I accomplished my anything but simple task. I expanded the boundaries of human knowledge. But I didn't do it alone. For every project that went in unexpected directions, I had research colleagues and mentors to help me embrace those changes to make my thesis stronger. For every experiment gone awry, I had friends and family to support me as I picked myself up and tried again. And every missed deadline was just a temporary delay for a later celebration. Well, graduate class of 2020, our time for celebration is finally here. I am so grateful to be here in Killian Court in my stripy robe and my poofy hat, and to join with you together as an MIT community, strengthened by everyone who supported us on our journeys. Fellow alumni of all schools, courses, and degrees, faculty, staff, family, friends, and all community members, I thank you. I salute you. Let's celebrate. It is my privilege to now welcome Kealoha, poet and storyteller and an alumnus of the class of 1999, to deliver today's keynote address. Kealoha, who was known as Stephen Kealoha Wong during his time at MIT, is a Course 22 nuclear engineering graduate with a Course 21W, yes, 21, with a Course 21W writing minor. He became a professional poet in 2002 and has been featured on HBO's Brave New Voices and made appearances on NBC, PBS, Food Network, and National Public Radio. His most recent work, The Story of Everything, is a science-based theater production that will premiere as a feature film at the 2022 Maui Film Festival. Kealoha also bears the distinction of being named Hawaii's first Poet Laureate. And we are so honored to have him speak to us on this special day. Welcome, Kealoha.
How's it going? Cool. Seriously, it's so good to be back here on campus. I gotta say, graduating from here, then chasing a pipe dream to become a professional poet was probably the most roundabout way to be invited back to speak here at MIT. But here we are. So thank you, President Rife. Thank you, administration, faculty, distinguished alumni, and trustees. Thank you to the grandparents, the parents, and the siblings, the uncles and aunties, the friends and extended families. All of you are here because you were a significant part of this journey. All the support, the wisdom, the advice, and the love you've given made this possible for these MIT grads, the class of 2020 and 2021. With all my heart, congratulations. You made it here today, and so today, for a moment, I want you to think about your life. I want you to think about what you stand for and realize that all the mistakes you've ever made and all the expectations that have ever been placed on you by the people you know and the people you don't, they all mean nothing in the long term. For every year you live, the universe will be around for billions and billions. And for every friend you've made, there are billions yet to be born that you will never meet. In the grand scheme of things, we are nobody. And yet at the same time, we are everything. We are X and Y chromosomes. We are G, C, A, and T genomes. We are complex carbohydrates, simple proteins, soft tissue, hardwired neurons. We are strong bonds linked in nervous systems. And while this Earth's surface is covered with 60-something% salt water, we are walking bags made of 60-something% salt water, merely mimicking the environment that we evolved from. We are the lump sum of billions of years of evolution, an accumulation of mutations from single-celled organisms to multicellular animals, from tiny sea creatures to fish to amphibians to reptiles to mammals to primates to humans, from all of these ancestors. From the first anatomically modern Homo sapiens that emerged in the lush savannas of East Africa, and every single one of our ancestors who survived and thrived, who migrated around this planet, they all led to each and every single one of us right here, right now, converge in Killian Court at the single point in the space-time continuum to celebrate your accomplishment. So for this moment, I humbly ask you to reflect on your ancestors. From some of mine in Hawaii, Iulu no kalala I ke kumu. The branches grow because of the trunk, which is our way of saying that without our ancestors, we would not be here. So let your ancestors be here with us through you. Know that we exist because they did too. Know that through them, there are millions of stories that led to you and the knowledge that you've accumulated from them and from this institution. is an accumulation of knowledge from around this world over thousands and thousands of years. You sit on the tip of the spear frontier of the next generation of thinkers, the next generation of innovators, the next generation of leaders. You all represent that. The roughly 2,500 of you here celebrating today, and the roughly 3,500 of you out there celebrating elsewhere, we're all here for you, the members of the worldwide classes of 2020 and 2021 in the MIT chapter of humanity. Each and every single one of us align in this epic poem we are all telling. So the question is, what will you stand for? In the short line that will summarize your life, how will you spend your days? Who will you make metaphors with, and who will you rhyme with, and what role will you play in our stanza? Because on a very real level, all of us here, collectively, we are ancestors in training, the future in the making. For we will forever shift the way that humans behave through the technology and the policy that we make, through the scientific discoveries and the progress in industries and the problems that we solve and the art that we are a part of, through the people that we touch, and through the people that they touch, and through the people that touch us in a positive feedback loop of brilliance together. We're like a thermonuclear fusion reactor, a release of energy in this plasma of people, blasting our particles of genius out with an energy equal to the amount of mass converted times the speed of light squared. Our limits will stretch as far as we dare. And between all of us, together, if you add up all of our lifetime contributions to society, we're out here making some serious heat. We're collectively doing this. Trust me. So the question is, what's up with you? What are you trying to do? How are you going to use your mass, the energy you've been given? How are you going to use your talents? Because on a human level, on an individual level, we are all wandering particles, and we're all wandering elements in this periodic table of the universe, barely noticeable in the grand scheme. Chances are that 200 years from now, hardly anybody will remember our name, and the work we did on this planet will have faded. And maybe one or some of you will shift humanity in some meaningful way. And for those of you who do, shoot, make us proud of you. But for the rest of us, we may make some esoteric discovery or some small contribution to our industries, but most likely, our most significant impact will be in our communities and in our families. Our impact will be felt in the way that we treat others and the way that we treat ourselves. The humanity that we express during our lives will echo as a singular note in the infinite symphony of the cosmos. And trust me, there will be meaningful friendships and deep laughter along the way. We will experience drama and sorrow and tragedy in our days. There will be broken bones, broken contracts, and broken hearts. There will be moments of clarity and inspiring art. You'll feel both pride and disappointment. You feel times of discontent and times of disconnect and times of depression. There'll be love and joy and peak experiences shining brighter than all of your other times trudging through the daily mundane. And I wish for you to live all of your multifaceted human experiences presently and fully, because soon enough, they will all fade. All of them. Even this MIT experience, as vivid as it was in real life and as high def as it was online, your mind, your memory, your sense of what this was will fade. I have a confession to make. I don't remember most of what I learned here. You too? Okay, cool. Don't tell my family. They still believe I still got it. But it's true. I know that at one point, I could calculate the IHTFP out of a differential equation. that I could break down with mathematical precision what was going on in a nuclear reactor core, that at some point I could have told you the difference between Laplace and Fourier transforms. MIT transformed my mind. But let's say you gave me a pop quiz today and any of that. Let me retake any one of those exams that I took when I was here. Start the clock for an hour. Heck, make it open book like how it used to be. You know what would happen? I would look at that first sheet of paper with all those Greek letters and Hindu Arabic numbers on it, and the minutes would continue to tick. I would flip through the pages and I would start to daydream about the people that I knew here. The countless hours that we spent together would flash as a mashup of greatest hits of late night talks and long walks over and along the Charles. I'll try to remember the specific pathways I took through the infinite corridor during a typical day to get from lobby 7 to building 26, then to building 4, only to have to circle back through 10, 3, and 7 to end up at building 5 without ever going outside to expose myself to the Cambridge snow. I would giggle at the fact that I walked barefoot around campus the first couple months that I was here because I wasn't quite yet ready to give up that part of my Hawaii upbringing. I would recall some of the hacks that I witnessed, like the time when folks dressed this dome up as R2-D2 a couple days before Star Wars: The Phantom Menace was released. I would reflect on all of my crushes and all of my roommates and the closeness and the growing pains of our coming of age. I would smile over the friendships that I made, and I would be grateful for the way that MIT changed my brain. And I would turn that test in blank. And it's all good, because I know that if I really wanted to relearn that stuff, I could. And maybe one day this hypothetical outcome will apply to you too, but no matter what, I want you to never forget 2 of the most important things that we learned here. 1, we learned how to believe in ourselves. That at some point we had the nerve to believe that we belonged at this place. That we worked our butts off till it hurt, and we kept believing to near points of breaking, and we pushed our limits, and we graduated. And 2, we learned how to learn here. We learned how to science, how to hypothesize, how to test our ideas, how to methodically identify our constants and change our variables. We learned how to circle back and tweak our hypotheses to incorporate our findings, repeat the cycle and tweak how to develop our ideas and communicate them to our colleagues. We mastered that here. We've proven that we can learn almost anything. So my challenge to you is this. Learn how to be a better person. How to be the best version of yourself. Learn how to be kind, thoughtful, and respectful. Learn how to lead and learn how to follow. Learn how to truly listen without constantly thinking about what you're going to say next. Learn how to make decisions with a healthy mix of logic and good intentions. Learn how to ask meaningful questions. Learn how to build a life full of love, growth, and passion. Learn what brings you and other people joy, and do that a lot. Learn what it takes to make your dreams come true, and do that. You'll do that the most. Whether it's career or relationships or family or self-growth or contribution to society or philanthropy or social change or designing things or scientific discoveries or helping others or whatever else makes you tick. I wish for you to walk through this life knowing that you gave it all that you had to give to experience everything you ever deemed important. I challenge you to treat your life as the longest, most important, epic problem set you've ever been presented with. And if one day, if you ever feel the heavy, blunt weight of regret, if the pressures of career or family or money start to get to you, or when your body, your non-redundant, single point of failure system of a body starts to break down like a Chevy Nova with 150,000 miles on it, when those moments come, Treat your life like a science experiment. Form a hypothesis for your life choices. Test your ideas. Methodically identify the constants and change the variables in your life. Circle back and tweak your hypotheses to incorporate your findings. Change your life through the decisions that you make. Break the generational or negative cycles in your life that don't suit you. And make sure you communicate your findings with your loved ones. Let them know what you know so they can learn from your successes and mistakes. Never forget that we are ancestors in training. Because one day, when we are done on this plane, all that will remain are the moments that we shared and the ideas that we spread and the legacy that we left. So make sure you act on everything significant that you've ever thought, because as far as I can tell, this life is all that we've got. And when we are done, this flesh we call our own returns home to the earth when we dissipate. Our water evaporating to rain down and circulate, while our carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, and phosphorus recycle back into the life cycles of bacteria, fungi, plants, and animals, and archaea, protozoa, and cremisa for all you biology nerds. While this earth, hurling through space, will freeze and boil as it has for eons as it orbits the sun, which in 5 billion years will transform into a red giant and scorch all life as we know it. Its last task before it fizzles into a whimper, remembered by nobody. Or maybe charted by aliens as they peer through telescopes, logging our sun as a piece of data that came and went. And these aliens, whoever they may or may not be, shoot, I want them to think about their lives. I want you to think about your life as you study me through your primitive telescopes, and I want everybody, the aliens, you and me, to realize that even when our hearts break, or when work gets rough, or when the mortgage or rent is due, or when someone somewhere says something stupid about you, when things aren't going like how we wanted them to, when your health isn't right, or when you lose passion in your life, or when your laughter isn't as deep and it seems as if the universe is conspiring against you, even in the face of global pandemics, climate change, political corruption, and perpetual war, in the face of racism, sexism, classism, and insert really bad word here, ism. No matter how hard life may get for you or for other people, zoom out. Zoom out and realize that all the evil in this world is transient. Heck, all the good in this world is transient. You, me, all of us are transient. You will not be you in the grand scheme of things, which makes all your suffering temporary, which makes your ecstasy the most exciting thing worth remembering as part of the universe expressing itself in one giant celebration known as the Big Bang. We are its aftermath sigh, its alibi for not having a reason. You are the universe learning about itself. You are the universe asking itself why it's here. You will soon be the universe not learning or asking anything. You are everything and nothing at the same time, and no matter how hard it is to admit, no matter how afraid we get and how much we want to deny the truth, well, the truth is, we're gonna die. Maybe not tonight, tomorrow, or next year, but sooner or later, we're all gonna die. But the truth is hard to swallow. And so we do everything we can to avoid the big picture, because the big picture is paralyzing. And so we focus our eyes on the day-to-day dramas of our lives. But not today. Today, I want you to think about your life right here. Not here, your MIT commencement ceremony in Cambridge, Massachusetts, but here, this world, planet Earth, here, this galaxy, this universe. We are not cavemen anymore. There are no saber-toothed tigers lurking in the shadows, yet most of us cling to our fears like the animals we evolved from. What are we so afraid of? We've been etching the same patterns in the same predictable places for years. Why do we live the way that they tell us to? And man, who the heck are they anyway? It's about time we start doing what's in our hearts, because that's all we really got. I want you to think about all the things you wish you could do, and tonight I want you to do one of them, and tomorrow another. Our lives are temporary art pieces. We are works in progress, so I say paint your butt off. Use fluorescent yellows and reds in the places where there aren't any color. Dance for the moment. Sculpt your life out of soil and make the universe smile. Be the expressive process that is humanity. Today, I want you to think about your life, and tomorrow, y'all go on out there and live it. Thank you all. Congratulations.
Good morning. You can all hear me? All right, well, I'll introduce myself. I'm Alexandra Reinhardt. It's great to see you all here again. It's exciting that so many of you flew in from all over the world to be here today. We certainly didn't expect this when we reserved the first venue for Senior Ball. You came back for a reason. For me, and I'm guessing for many of you, it's because you love your friends and the relationships that you created while you were here. MIT is a challenging place. It's the challenges we face that reinforce the communities we form. Contrary to popular belief, we're not all geniuses. Most of us do struggle here. And outside of the classroom, we see our classmates go through real personal trauma. But through it all, we're there for each other. Somewhere in here. For every hardship, I've seen immense thoughtfulness and support come from the people here. It's easy to understand someone's struggles when they're pointed out to you, but a truly thoughtful person will not only notice, but act. At MIT, we didn't only think about ourselves, we thought about the world. When we volunteered, when we rallied for MIT to divest from fossil fuels, when we wrote papers for our dreaded Haas concentrations. The key to solving the issues plaguing society today is showing the same thoughtfulness that we have for our friends to everyone else. We can think about minorities and how we can help create the diversity we want to see in the world. We can think about victims of discrimination and how we can help stop all of this hatred. We can think about politics and how we can use the empathy to have conversations with people we do not agree with. And we can think about all of this before someone has to point out the problem to us. The world watches for MIT to light the right path through technology and innovation. What if we were to show the world that we could lead them also through empathy and kindness? Thank you. I would like to now welcome 2021 PhD, Sheng Zhao Richard Zheng.
Hello, MIT class of 2020 and 2021. How are you doing? Let me tell you a story right here. 6 years ago, when I first got to MIT, I looked up on the dome and told myself, I'm going to conquer the world. Just like many of you, my fellow alums, I am and have always been a very ambitious person, driven by the desire to be successful and accomplished. But what is success? Back when I was pursuing my PhD in math at MIT, success for me meant graduation. That definition was emblematic, straightforward, and unanimously agreed upon by my friends, family, and even my worst enemies. So for 5 years, I worked extremely hard towards my degree, just like all of you here. And I still remember the day that I defended my dissertation, Wednesday, April 28th, 2021. Actually, right over there in that green pyramid top behind the trees in Building 2. That's where I virtually defended. That day, I felt so much accomplishment and success. But now that I've graduated a year ago, I've come to view success on different terms. Or, as a mathematician would say, ill-defined and multi-valued. Right after leaving MIT, I still had the same notion of wanting to conquer the world, per se. So I kept on hustling on my new job until I started feeling stuck by the daily mundanities of getting up and going to work. And this time, guess what? There's no symbolic, universally agreed upon finish line like the dissertation defense or the commencement. And it took me a while to realize the importance of having internal success definitions. A set of your own metrics for what it means for you to be successful. I then celebrate frequently when I succeed on my own terms. And even more than that, I find little joys over the otherwise daily mundanities, whether it be a serendipitous chat with a good friend or finding that perfect meme on Facebook. As we embark on our next journey, whether it be academia, industry, entrepreneurship, or further education, I have no doubt that MIT's training has enabled us to succeed on our terms and conquer our own world that nobody else can ever define for us. In the meantime, celebrate the small as well as the big wins, such as today's graduation. Thank you so much. Congratulations to you all. And now it is my privilege to welcome a fellow graduate alum, formerly provost, now formerly chancellor, and now provost, Cynthia Barnhart.
In celebration of the academic achievements of members of the Massachusetts Institute of Technology classes of 2020 and 2021, congratulatory scrolls will now be presented to those who earned bachelor's, master's, and doctoral degrees in those years. The first graduates to be recognized are the class marshals and speakers who are seated on stage.
Yun Peng Liu.
Catherine A. Livolsi.
Joaquin Sergio Geraldo Laguna.
Kayla Vodenau.
Nicole Suzanne Moody.
Alexandra Marie Reinhardt.
Nuanacho
Camilo Ginas.
Chengzhao Zhang.
Anna Lopez Montserrat.
Kofi William Blake.
Mahalakshmi Alango.
Peter Jinyang Su.
Tema Berry Nwana. And to our graduates, as you receive your scroll, please return to your seat in the audience to honor your fellow graduates of 2020 and 2021.
Rachel Aniceto. Natasha Jakes. Elise A. Panagon.
Abdullah Al-Hadri.
John M. Wu.
Pablo Felipe de Cruz Cotier.
Ze Dong.
Ravikishore Kolma Josila.
Franklin Zhang.
David Larson.
Emily Liu.
Constantine Weiser.
Enrico Kurt Granados Chavez.
Shikhar Kumar.
Sarah Ann Tiles.
Daniel Christopher Stack.
Xiaoyi Wang. Ali Vakilian. Maddie F. Wasiak. Sumaya Nazim. Ji Sok Kim. Srinivasan Raghurama. Wanjun Kong.
Max Walt Shen.
Ricardo D. Villarreal.
Anastasia Bilaeva.
Nicolas Gomez del Campo. Ryan Spencer Shinaberry. Felipe Monsalve.
Ana Ponomareno.
Miguel Vega. Sai Nishant Dikala.
Gregory Paye.
Govind Ramnarayan. Mariana Gomez del Campo. Chi Che Yu. Abby McGee.
Ryuji Takaji.
Matthew Suazo.
Jihim Wang.
Christina T. Meng.
Liu Ge.
Burke Sat.
Tian Chu Yang.
Rashni Sahu.
Hongzi Mao.
Ishan Nichani.
Hongge Chen.
Michael Kural.
Tian Xie.
Sunny Tien.
Emiko Zombro.
Ashwin Sa.
Thomas McDonald.
Dipankar Gupta.
Chu Wei Ding.
Tarun Kamut.
Danhao Ma.
Sai Veda Pramoda Karnati.
Yifei Zhang.
Neha Prasad. Andrew Charles Miller. Andrew L. Chen. Ato
Yun
Kwapong.
Pong Liu.
Azucena Ramos.
Clement Serafimov.
Matthew Everett Lawson.
Linda Ji Ya Gong. Zongyu Gu. Adrian Leonardo Mesa.
Musun Hong.
Amy Q Fang. Meng Jie Liu. Jackie Jia Chi Lin.
Jungsun Moon.
Fernando E. Juarez.
Ryan Gillis.
Federico Llarena. Sarah Jane Shapiro. Benjamin R. Sheffer. Christy Chow. Laurel M. Wright. Michael Andrew Lee. Juan Carlos Garcia. Paul Mayencor. Gustavo F. Torres. Mohammed Murshid Alam.
Marco Antonio Rivera Jr.
David Layden. Feliciano Escobedo. Youngjin Park. Dylan Matias Carranza. Joseph Kim. Jonathan E. Esteban Diaz. Isaac Elise Mueller. Yasim Rana. Caitlin Marie Neeson Friend. Gabriela Carrion Rivera. Janet Pusben. Humberto Riveron Valdez. Connor James McClune. Aya Grace Halawi. Benjamin Waldman. Andres Fabriga Gerbo.
Sihan Xie.
Ruben Marenfeld.
Lin Zhao. Juan Angelo Ferrua El Mudisi. Grace Sui Si Gun. Michael Christopher Arrington. Omar Laban.
Emmanuel Perez.
Deepa Rao. Alon Kasowski Sachs. Hajir Rusbahani. Ronit N. Langer. Omer Tanovich. Prithvi N. Undavali. Rachel Perlman. Jonathan Monahemi. Magdalena Maria Clemun. Abraham Shalom Mezrahi. Marco Miorti. Enrique Javier Perez Serra.
Erica De Benedictus.
Kevin Wong. Jesus Ricardo Alvarez Felix. Cecile Leclerc. Heiji Kwan.
Serena Doe.
Jose Pablo Caballero Sanchez.
Maurizio Alfredo Diaz.
Laura Hum Delgado. Claire Tang. Louis Lawton Thomas. Juan M. Ochoa Ortiz. Sarah Ann Goodman.
Elias Yishan Yang.
Louis Lester Chen.
Anna Cooperberg.
Lin Zhang.
Sophie Herskovici.
Sungjin Kim.
Shannon Cassidy.
Yoon Jung. Cole R. Hoffer. Clint Shijun Ko. Caitlin Aria Tucci.
Ivana Adab.
Marielle Folan. Aliza Huram. Veronica Ripper. Gerardo Blett. Darla Earl.
Sandeep Badrinath.
Dion Jordan Richmond. Shao Ting Lin. Gloria Un Chir. Danush Cody Maria Pen. Yedanya Santiago. Alvin Tong Lip Tan. Kevin Alfredo Santillan Hernandez. Sai Nitin Reddy Kantareddy. Lilia R. Stazel.
Rohan Jaishankar.
Emily T. Jung.
Nigama Nayakanti.
Alexandrine Obrand.
Rushina Shah.
Delaney Marie Burns.
Cameron McBride.
Haley Flores.
Lee Jian.
Ivan Jutamolia. Bradley Eli Sturt. Madison S. Pickett. Reem Harris. Michelle Wiest.
Matthew M. Swisher.
Theodore Rosenzweig. Shreya Srinivasan. Sarah G. Von Ahn. Jesse D. Kirkpatrick.
Colleen Campbell.
Antoine Ramier.
Xiao Mao.
Jacqueline Leah Huynh. Vanessa W. Wong. Parker Denise Vaschik. Taylor Ann Gray. Hugh Alexander Carson. Madeline L. Abrahams. Anne Colon. Tian Yun Gu. Matthew T. Vernacchia. Sydney A. Laporte.
Han Yin.
Devin Getz. Christopher Jonathan Reba. Kira A. Gavin. Pedro Nuno Vaz Teixeira. Adedoyin Adenike Abimbola Olateru Olagbegi.
Yi Lu.
Kendall Nicole Hicks.
Ethan Raphael Rosenberg.
Naomi Dereja.
Stephen Philippone.
Sophia Lobo Kemp.
Isabel R. Crystal.
Christy Carpenter. Mariana Rodriguez Buno. Amy L. Vogel. Ivo Rosa Ashton Montenegro. Claire Dacon.
Caroline Sorensen.
Metal Hadassah Hoffman.
Janelle M. Mirage.
Gabriela Maria Zach.
Philip Simons.
Carol Wu.
Danielle Pace.
Kenneth Kofi Abaka Aqua.
Rahul Gopal Krishnan.
Michelle Menkitty. Albert D. Wong. Dorothy May Shimkiewicz.
Laura Jones Perovich.
Raja William Raichich.
Bianca Chelsea Natasha Data.
Samuel Patrick Austin.
Rachel Suhu Smith.
Hang Le Ti Ngui. Byung Gu Cho. Jessica Liu.
Samuel Chapman Chevalier.
Colm O'Rourke.
Malvika Raj.
Ian Tracy.
Brianna Igbenosin.
Shun Tuo Wong.
Anne Hanako Kimura Harrington.
Ryan Andrew Duncan.
Aaron Makikali.
Franz Anton Kulin.
Andrew Barron Callahan.
Marek Hempel.
Charlotte Anderson Maloney.
Ava Marie Golos. Suzanne O'Meara. Sarah Nicole Nagelberg. Ramya A. Durvasula.
Daniela Espinosa Hoyos.
Catherine Elizabeth Adams. Alexander S. Mihailovich. Ethan Perrin. Julie Jakobaski. Elijah B. Stanger Jones.
Zhu Chang John.
Eric Rodriguez.
Jack Wade Holloway.
Bryce Levi Wang.
Oscar Mickelin.
Benjamin Sokol. Daniel Dorsch.
Chung Han Michael Chang.
Tyler T. Hamer.
Ryan J. Catalano. Julia Zhao. Crystal Pham. Seth Allen Cazell. Jameson Rich. Derek M. Kita. Luke Bordenero. Michael Walsh. Alexandra Hanselman. Chung Pang.
Brooke McColdrick.
Ravi Tejvani.
Ashisha N. Persad. Jiajun Wu. Tiffany Young. Xi Jia Zheng. Lian Lin. Ye Wen Pu. Tenzin Somthin Ukyab.
Claire Webb.
Sabrina Khan.
Jonathan Chuen Chow.
Alexandra Alice Margareta Berg.
Yushuan Lin.
Varsha R. Sridhar.
Santiago Perez de Rosso.
Jill Lin.
Jin Che Han.
Alvin Zhu.
Wenji Ji.
Lillian Zhang.
Linda Ye.
Ting Yu Lee.
Wang Hao Jua.
Kaveri Nadamuni.
Yong Bin Sun.
Dexon Lee.
Rachel Esplin Odell.
Meghana Kameneni.
Mayumi Fukushima.
Sarah J. Wong.
Tuba Boscha.
Sophia Shah.
Ignacio Puente.
Siam Mukit.
Anna Marie Shepard.
Ashwin Srinivasan.
Ong Kui.
Sisam Bandari.
Jan Gustav Wilhelm Samuelsson.
Emily Chen.
Manuel Antonio Morales.
Yuria Utsumi.
Si Young Chung.
Brandon Leach.
Swati Kataria.
Joanna Chow Lin.
Aditi Gupta.
Brent Alberto Avery.
David Miranda Nieves.
Mary Catherine Brewer.
Giancarlo Serrano Flores.
Humberto L. Caldelas II.
Robin Singh.
William Bo Rideout.
Ishani Thakur.
Charles Wong.
Anisha Agarwal.
Gustavo E. Velez.
Max Lewis Olander.
Ji Young Cheng.
Isaac Wolverton.
Angela Marie Cachola.
Nikhil Morty.
Madeline K. Garcia.
Keshav Gupta.
Francisca Souza Pereira Cruz de Vasconcelos.
Casimir L'Esperance.
Ryan A. Chavez.
Jonathan Tago.
Spencer D. Pantoja. Spencer Nicholas Galen Axani. Yamarber Bakali.
Jennifer L. Wong.
Jada Rosaria Griffith.
Jonathan Wang.
Heather Marie Nelson.
Elaine Ng.
Lauren Schecksnyder.
Anmol Maney.
Anya Quenin.
Katerina M. Bulovic. Kayla Gabrielle Gomez. Joachim J. Kennedy.
Claudia Joyce Chen.
Patrick T. Wong.
Arul Ray Prasad.
Alan Yang.
Sonia Camila Lindberg.
Anna Gonçalves.
Emily Minso Kim.
Dave Ernest.
Ines
Kadi
Iber-
Hu.
Ines Iberico. Francisco Santos.
Effie Jia.
Lindsay Jenna Solitar.
Elizabeth Catherine Murray.
Stephanie Yasmin Kara.
Kristen Sheridan.
Laura Elizabeth Blackbird.
Charvi Gopal.
Roxanne Moslahi.
Stasia Edina Johanna.
Margaret Gail Riddle.
Leah Tian.
Nadi Kassam Kassam.
Jai Dong.
Philip Onotu.
Jasmine Fong Zhou.
Aina Oru.
Andres Alvarez.
Andrew Hannigan.
Ryan Riley Sherbo.
William Jackson.
Meredith Julian.
Patrick Emmanuel Rose.
Hayden Niederreiter.
Nidhi Sharma.
Samuel Solomon.
Chelsea Anyador.
Eva Morgan Lisowski.
Catherine Carroll.
Alex Chatung Choi.
Allison Page Porter.
Ersin Aruolu.
Long P. Wen.
Rachel M. O'Grady.
Jose Luis Ramos Alvarez.
Crystal Wang.
Megan Davis.
Miha Gala.
Abraham Israel Feinstein.
Iris Elizabeth Huang.
George Peter Eliades.
Nishit Kaushik.
Christopher Wallace.
Rachel Alice Bloom.
Venkata Melicity.
Jivesh Konaru.
Navraj Diol.
Sean M. Parks.
Ahmed Ibrahim Tagoldeen.
Gabriel Margolis.
Kenneth Fan.
Georgia Phillips.
Priyanka Shekhar.
Ryan M. Sander.
Bahira Hamam Kushain.
Andy Tso.
Zaina Dager Mansour.
Nicholas R. Martin.
Michael Everett.
Madeline R. Schroeder.
Yulani De La Porte. Jonathan Chak Wong Wong. Brittany L. White. Christopher Alexander Loy. Nasser Faisal Sattar.
Miriam Imani Wahid.
Stella Dulcie Jose Michelle.
Leah Trinity Sue Rodriguez.
Nayeli Calderon Urtez.
Luisa Fernanda Apolaya Torres.
Nana Huang.
Sheila Baber.
Mikhail Erminger Sarbo.
Sherry Zoe.
Tim Melamester.
Alexander Igor Alabugin.
Ken Dradi.
Talia Klinger.
Ahmad Al-Sawi.
Ruth Rosegrant Tweedy.
Luis de la Mora Perez.
Rebecca Sloan. Stephen Ray Garsky.
Priscilla Liao.
Roger Ewan. Darnell Granberry.
Joshua Maddage.
Erica Jillian Fleer.
Nicholas Brian Giglio.
Clemente Osejo Elizondo.
Roman Kabibulin.
Max Tell. Miles Graham Stapleberg. Maxwell Hockenhauser.
Christina Bray.
Daman Preeth Kaur. Annalise Hernandez. Richard Osterud Ray.
Kevin Gentile.
Alejandro Andres Miranda Lastra.
Varun Kumar Chimli.
Rostam Reifschneider.
Ali Artin Adudu.
Emily L. Shun.
Juhi Mittal.
Ting Mei Wu.
Madiyar Kumerbekov.
Cindy Chen.
Jeff Swerin.
Lawrence Wong.
Juan Goldenberg.
Iman Rahaman.
Rishi Raj Shroff.
Janice Shu.
Nirmal Srinivas.
Michelle Kornberg.
Maria Gabriela Gainal.
Allison Good.
Rafael Monroy Mejia.
Robert Benjamin Durfee.
Gaurav Mata.
Kristen Elizabeth Overly.
Shabda Prakash.
Premila Ann Rolls.
Thiago Moreno Berteni.
Rana Odabas.
Carla Kinugawa.
Lucy E. Mildy.
Po Yan Ho.
Sierra Renee Mulcahy.
Jocelyn J. Shen. Julian Homan Wellman. Ashley Wong.
Maya Leong Roy.
Gina Choi.
Madeline Cates.
Brandon Morioka.
Claire E. Halloran.
Yan Juan Park.
Grace Akatsu.
Song Wan Park.
Jonathan Filberto Tukiman.
Randy
Julia
Piao.
Julia J. Wu.
Andres Gino Zepp.
Catherine Shao.
Joey Corey El Aramuni.
Allison Luthane.
Neil Sanjay Pensay.
Matthew Hutchinson.
Kevin G. Chong Lean.
Tyler Millis.
Alexandro Sokolov.
Thomas Llewellyn Smith.
Anis Ben Said.
Erwin Franz.
Sofian Noor Aji.
Juan Cristobal Garcia Sanchez.
Nadezhda Dimitrova.
Luca Mingardi.
Nova Sierra Zhang.
Eugenio Zuccarelli. Jordan Frederick Knight. Alessandro Previero. Raphael Diane Astrid Marie Del Pont.
Tianqi Zhou.
Grégoire Chamet.
Phoebe Lee. Andromeda L. Tevens. Chad Wood.
Grant Prater.
Garrett Memoli. April Sia. Claire Buffington. Whitney Chong. Yuna Kim. Israel Bonilla. Jason Medino. Danielle Marie White. Ian Bush. Rachel Zhang. Madeline Ming Lei Wong. Christopher W. Chong. Jimmy Tran. Melody Catherine Fu. Matthew Joseph Stallone. Talia Miriam Blum. Elizabeth Obermeyer. Alex S. Miller. Amelia Aaron Clabby Gutentag. Gabriel Gustavo Owens Flores.
Geneva Casalegno.
Alula Hunson. Alexander Salisbury. Mihir Trivedi.
Fan Wong.
Bhavik Nagda.
Yi Yang.
Georgia G. Dimaki.
Jenny
Maya
Lee.
Levy.
Stephanie Yuen.
Casey Marie McClenathan.
Kavya Rojichandran.
Pantoa Tenwej.
Simran Pabla.
Eveline Maynor.
Stuti Vishwaban.
Christine Elizabeth Golia.
Kristen Marie Serrao.
Kevin Wessel.
Jessica A. Quay. Ziqi Zhou.
Somya Ram.
Ashet Yarali.
Julian Dubransky.
Julie Klos.
Connor Anderson.
Anne Vu.
Mario A. Lopez.
Laura Marakazi Urali.
George Chen.
Eric David Wisecup.
Daniel Kwong.
Min Yi Jeffrey May.
Sue Zhang.
Andres Canela Mejia.
Z Hang Zhang.
Carlos Theodorico de Freitas.
Jessica Yang.
Yohanan Nelson Levy.
Sylvia Canapa.
Christian Leonardo Gonzalez Ruiz.
Sade Kailani Nabahi.
Elizabeth Marie Barna Pedlo.
Nina Peluso.
Asia Chapman.
Erin Elizabeth Smith.
Demarcus Patterson.
Nazla Edje Usta.
Max Kessler.
Maya Elizabeth Ruain Murad.
Luis Fernando Herrera Arias.
Corey Elizabeth Ventris Paik.
Chase Vogely.
Na Hun Kim.
Jennifer Zoe.
Western Bonim.
Kaylee Elizabeth Hunt.
Catherine Mei Feng Liu.
Lydia Sun.
Andrea Patricia Diaz Paquero.
Jarmin Kui.
Prabhakar Tripathi.
Gian C. Delphine.
Pratisha Jain.
Alden James. Marissa Steinmetz. Alexander G. Grossman. Nia Myrie. Arman V. Gori. Sandra Walter. Kevin Robert Petrovich. Nathaniel James Huffman.
Stuart Dylan Powell.
Miles Dye. Alan Gelman. Danny Gelman.
Alex Cuellar. Rebecca McCabe. Brandon John. Ahmed El Bashir. Faraz Masroor. Belinda Shee. Daniel Dangond. Sebastian Franju.
Ignacio Perez Bedoya.
Shahul Alam.
Obada Al-Khatib.
Adib Hassan. Tamam Mustafa. Yun Sing Liao.
Anthony J. Rice.
Yosef E. Miretti.
Elizabeth Harkavy.
Peter Hart.
Melissa Gamble.
Jai Yao Huang.
Benjamin Keith Brown.
Sok Mei Wong.
Aditya Nawab. Andres Paz Arez. Jacqueline Selby.
Kelly A. Craig.
Mahia Galu Lamire.
Asia Meliana Stwertznickel.
Nava Hazan.
Mercy Dambuki.
Michael Thomas Gay. Rihanna Shah. Casper Graham Ross Weisel. Lily Chan Chang Zedler. Jesse Honigberg.
Robert Q. Cow.
Kevin Dwayne Johnson.
Augustine Garcia Andrade.
Zi Hao Fu.
Christian Altamirano.
Catherine A. Livolsi.
Masrur S. Alam.
Toshinori Esaka.
Brian A. Mills.
Alex Syed.
Jonathan Samayoa.
Durgesh Vaidya.
Matthew C. Campbell.
Oscar John Benavidez.
Tanya Smith.
George Joseph Switzer.
Venkatesh Sivaraman.
Sumit Saraf.
Emily Haig.
Luis Alberto Rodriguez Mora.
Isabel Lee Yan.
Manuel Montez.
Justin Lim.
Roberta Ushubugi.
Santiago Ospina.
Anusha Kalantari.
Matthew C. Tung.
Jennifer Christine Cummins Askew. Edward Pagosian. Martin Leach.
Rahul Ramakrishnan.
Aza Diasti Kennedy.
Sita Salgia Patel.
Nan Than Tran.
Tyler S. Lerner.
Keith Diggins.
Abiagali Nwodo.
Ryan Pugach.
Sachin Tapa.
Danny Muleschlegel.
Muse Demise.
Aziza Sultan Asen.
Awele Uwagu.
Catherine Laura Riley.
Amadou Yaye Ba.
Emily Yeager.
Boluatife Akinola.
Olga Timir Galieva.
Margaret Kakoko.
Lauren Galinsky.
Amel Amin Elfadol Alawad.
Rebecca M. Costello.
Maisha M. Promi.
Jason Nikes. Ji Yang Gao. Luis E. Garcia. Po Han Lin.
Anna Luz Solorsano.
Mohammed Sanzid Anwar.
Priscilla Liu.
Min Thet Kine.
Jessica Leon.
Yotaro Sueoka.
Jihei Choi Jide.
Peter T. Tran.
Amber Jiahui Liu.
Lin Yuying Liu.
Jordan Sumi Doctor.
Julia Hayoung Cho.
Dory Shen.
Marcus Salvatore Abate.
George Stephanakis.
Fiona L. McKellar.
Sebastian Heike.
Zoe Lallis.
David Bigwin.
Stephen Duncan.
Amir Moshe Ben Jonathan.
Kyra Majors.
Dar Shkedi Maor.
Jesus Herrera.
Itzik Rahamim.
Amal Rar.
Dror Zaide.
Max Langenkamp.
Flor Nouvelle.
Patricia Gao.
Mega Shrivastava.
Alexander Lawrence Evanchek.
Leah Gonzalez Howard.
Urian Gillam.
Catherine Philbin Nevins.
Ella Vivian Richards.
Christian Maurice Smith.
Nelson New.
Patrick Brennan Harold.
Albie John Joseph.
Artur Freitas de Mendonça.
Grace Chuan.
Ana Carolina Hagazoni Rodriguez.
Danielle Gray Stewart.
Francine Pietrobon.
Amina Iqbal.
Catherine Raisa Ferreira Martinez.
Catherine E. Gravel.
Yasmin Al Hassani.
Ravalika Demerla.
Pedro Vernek.
Smriti Raman.
Srijan Malik.
Kodrin Paul Onechi.
Fiona Furlong.
Booker Skelhaus.
Durga Harini Panda. Bashara Abwarab. C. Tien Yang. Andrew Jihoon Kang. Mateos Balgunda. Badr Almanauer. Kitumetsi Molamu.
Anupama Patek.
Chandler Perry.
Zion Ruth Perry.
Kadri Oguntade.
Ning Guan.
Jesus Moreno.
Bridget Bain.
Diego Fabricio Velasquez Falconi.
Keisha Bethany Wang.
Andres Santos.
Haripriya P. Mehta.
Diego Eduardo Novoa Arroyo.
Caitlin Arminda Hennessy.
Fiorella Jimena Penagos Celis.
Deepak Adarsh Subramanian.
Niels Christian Danielson.
Kevin Antone Speakerman.
Robert C. Henning. Karen Rong. Jacob Miskey.
Samuel Ubelker.
Jonathan Lede.
Peter B. Crocker. Conrad E. Goffenay. Alexander I. Pereira Bueno.
Marissa Gates.
Adam Jedediah Har Horowitz. Michael Smith.
Tomas Vega Galvez.
Jared Ray Johnson. Carlos Nunez Lopez. Anthony Mark Ndickum. Adriana Maria Jacobson.
Obogu Ukuku.
Matisse Catherine Pepet.
Cheikh Amadou Bamba Fall.
Serena C. Groen Haberly.
J. Himat Sinka.
Matthew Barnard Weiss. Joshua Reed Diowo.
Abigail M. Fry.
Jens Marchewski.
Annie Yun.
Daniel Nathan Picard.
Albert Garovich. Jenna Hawk. Enuma Mokel. Lindsay McAllister.
Nestor Andres Sepulveda.
Eric John Pence.
João Rodriguez.
Nicholas M. Kashuk.
Ashoka Vardhan Reddy Madhuri Venkata.
Noah Jefferson McDaniel.
Amy Whedon.
Trevor Ewald.
Kevin M. Zayas.
Rohil Verma.
Gohar Khan. Michael Pena. Alejandro Gonzalez Placito.
Talia Esther Peltz.
Zion Moore.
Zachary James Pitcher.
Jose A. Martinez.
Catherine Yu Zeng.
Pedro Leandro Larota Nunez.
Jingwei Ma.
Quiley Simeon. Jason Lee Seibel. Jose Alberto Aceves Salvador.
Priscilla Joy Wu.
Dylan Lewis.
Charlene Wang. Kais Bago. Sarah Anqing Wu. Karina I. Hinojosa.
Ignacio Contreras.
Tesla Wells.
Jose de la Puerta Fernandez.
Yiwei Chen.
Carlo Peter Schmid.
Tuo Liu.
Alessandro Rapana.
Katarina Bukin.
Carlos Delgado Gonzalez.
Ipek Bensu Manav.
Kusha Gol Mohammadi. Andrew Kufariji. Timothy Tianyi Chen. Hector L. Iglesias. Isabel Y. Liu. Jad El Murad.
Prakash Mananda.
Carolyn Rosendo Xavier dos Santos. Akshay Nandwana.
Roberto Gauna.
Sanat Anand.
Jacqueline Montante.
Edward Sulitzer.
Mateus Bezruchka.
Cecilia Padilla.
João Pedro Wald Saad. Nina Wang. Shannon E. Duffy.
Nanette Wu.
Pooja Donti Reddy. Divya Ravinder. Gretchen M. Eggers. Andrea Patricia Garcia. Omar Laris.
Ekin Akurek.
Dakota Thurman.
Tara Buru Shaki.
Enrico Joseph Mikali.
Parisa Movahedi.
Ayeden J. Uzamare. Lorcan Murphy. Yujita Maria Chihotska.
Stephanie S. Yoon.
Gabriela Bila Bandera Advincula.
Samya Rawat.
Nava Hegigi.
Ray Wen Fu.
Stephen Peter DeSantis.
Yashar Ahmadov.
Alec George Marchuk.
Saad Rahan.
Eric D. Yang.
Ravi Ray
Karunya
Raghavan.
Seturaman. Rosanna El Said. Claire Su. Eileen Hu.
Aman Patel.
Margarita Mesir Pashayeva. Alexander Dimitrakakis. Oh Yoon Kwan. Gabriel A. Madonna. Harrison M. Allen. Andres Alvarado. Elena Maria Sendanaris. Zachary Nolan Holbrook. Ali Rami Daher.
Roger Paul.
Diego Alonso Roque Montoya. Shahryar Sheikh. Siranush Ketevan Chovelidze Babakhanova. Anthony Lu Chung. Jacob Chuddick. Xiaoqing Zi. Felipe Ros Parshevicius. Lara Rakocevic. Elizabeth Trushin. Annie Zhang.
Natalia Tersakov.
Alexa Jan.
Adira Tova Yermish Balzac.
Elahe Ahmadi.
Karan Shah.
Madeline Klein.
Mansi Sharma.
Hunter Stan Fields. Kevin Chen. Nicholas H. Rodriguez.
Christopher Eschler.
Ishwan Pei.
Emily Pearl Condon.
Ian James McNally.
Grace Ann Coratiello.
Marco Aurelio Guerra de Sa.
Sarah Catherine Nicholas.
Anna Carolina Blaine.
Abigail Stein.
Daniel Antonio Serran Mora.
James A. Drayton.
Christine So.
Kendall Garner.
Sally Liu. Sarah Bennett Pawazik. Woon Young Bae. Julie Renee Vaughn. Lena Lee Zhu. Avital Franca Baral. Nova Shu. Mayuka Suhasini Vadari. Athena Ortega.
Nisha Devasia.
Jennifer Liu.
Amina Habis.
Serena Lay.
Raghav Batra.
Caitlin L. Keegan. Pedro Manuel Maddens Toscano. Megan E. Ochelik.
Zachary Michael Metzman.
Albert P. Go.
Charlene Song.
Isaac S. Perper.
Asel Ismoldaeva.
David Poboreski.
Catherine Anna Jiang.
Savannah N.
Marta Manzin. Cole C. Legg. Hannah Margaret Field.
Tyler Moroso.
Max G. Allen. Lily Bailey.
Sharon Lynn.
Emily A. Berzola. Bean Doe. Jane C. Reed. Juan Gil Sanhuesa. Daniel Monagle.
Emily Hendrina Sois.
Phil La Rochelle. Vibha Agarwal. Michael Connolly. Maxine D. Beeman.
Jagjit Singh Dalival.
Lisa Tang.
Baini Sola Oganyami.
Dikshita Kumar.
Jotpreet Singh Chahal.
Phoebe Piercy. Matt Knott.
Rachel
Erica
Elizabeth
Lee Gianni.
Layton.
Christopher Zhu.
Andrew Shin.
Austin S. Edelman.
Michael Anthony O'Sullivan. Chase Jervis Joseph Warren. Kushal Gohil. Daniel Becker Feldman. Matthew Soma Dean.
Grant Gunnison.
Kristen Riley. Olivia Koslow. Stephen Gregory Barr. Melanie Rongswan Chen. Cecilia Scanlon. Shu Lin. Jason Thomas Lavender. Anthony Hernandez. Sarita Dua. Barish John Ikim.
Katie Dukeman Marksinitz.
Crystal Y. Toy. Michael Allen Solomon. Ginny Lee. Mitra Mosharraf. Sarbari Sarkar.
Richard Wang.
Karen Gu.
Lian Cheng.
Diana Wen. Brendan Joseph McCarthy. Paula Lahera. Ambrish Modi. Hannah Loizzo. Dennis Lussaul.
Alyssa Wells Lewis.
Kelly Lynn Gross.
Kevin J. Costello.
Sarah Little Jane Trice. Satvat Jagwani. Mariah Stein. Jose Miguel Zavala Gonzalez. Friedemann Pfeiffer. Diego Barea. Matthew Williams. William Fu. Anuj Tyagi. Rishab U. Chandra. Christina C. Liao. Natasha Marie Stark. Adrian Reginald C. Juan Alejandro Salazar. Shiloh Serenity Sigrid Curtis.
Armando Joseph Garcia.
Ta Tran.
Eric Belke. Amardeep Venus Jenkins. Nicholas A. Fritzinger Pittman.
Susan Rivas.
Braden Noah Cook.
Kentaro Matsumoto. Chad H. Chian. Vida Bilkis. Barada Kanta Nayak. Eleni Anastasia Tusimis.
Natasha Joglakar.
Catherine Christie Hall.
Nupur Ranganathan.
Sarah Marie Hyder.
Rima Rabay.
Amanda Doremus.
Maggie Zhang.
Guillermo Andres Casas Giraldo.
David Mackay.
Felipe Jaramillo.
Lipsy Kumari.
Muthla Bader Al Sayer.
Arsvita Alamsha.
Roman D. Saint Perrier, Rishi Shah, Michelle Moshe, Vic Chung Liu, Nay Nang, Darian Bathena, Krikor Magardit Kirkorov, Andrew J. Iverson, Amir Barsoum, Zachary Alexander Kopstein, Rao Venkatramana Mantri, Emily Riam, Jürgen Lebax, Stephanie Lee, Barbara Clay, Joseph R. Vasily, Luis Garcia de Brigard,
John B. Strawn,
Tomas Herranz Medina,
Thomas Allison,
Albert Perez Pauses, Jameson Clark Keith, Anna Sophia Montoya Olson, Albert D. Roberts, Brian Todd Luster, Christian Williams, Kenny K. Lee, Ariel Brito, Benjamin Gardiner Hardy, Jeffrey Z. Lee, Alida Marie Lujan, Thomas Insu Cho, Koshal Mehta, Siddhant Chaudhry,
Dave Bala,
Ivan Shestopalov,
Gitanjali Gopal,
Jan Robert Wojcik,
Lisa Ayami Kirsik, Jonathan L. Harvey, April Effort Eugene, Nate William Bechtel,
Senna Perk,
Eden Bensed,
Esat Efendigil,
Amir Farhat,
Acham Mukhanov,
Andrew Yang Bilski,
Michele Marinucci,
Timothy LePlay Arthur,
Anastasia Domina,
Wilbur Yon Lee,
Elena Harutunian,
Eric Chen,
Timothy Chen Brown,
Matthew J. Beveridge,
Devin Connolly,
Samuel Cantrell,
Luke Oliver St. Pay,
Alexandra Elizabeth Werner,
George Gia,
Leah Vogel,
Eli Jurgis,
Sophia Struckman,
Gregoire Jacot,
Eric Mahatvan Bradford,
Kaylee Simone Dugas,
Jackson R. Bernatchez,
Athena Nung Vang Nguyen, Andrew Dinas, Cecilia M. Esterman,
Nicola Zong,
Elaine Lima,
Mariam Shahid,
Jonathan Herrera,
Alexandra Forsey Smerick,
Andrew C. Adams,
Agnes Fry,
Alexander H. List. Camille X. DeVoe.
Aaron Nuchan Nguyen.
Sean J. Kent.
Alexander Justin McCarthy.
Chessa Hoekstra.
Zayla Dean Schaefer.
Christian Thomas Maroney.
Ashna Dingra.
Christopher Mock.
Abdul Rahman Al-Mashan.
Christopher James Riley.
Vishnu L. Darbraj.
William W. Roberts. Akilan Bupathi. Jacob Joseph Benoit.
Mauricio Madrigan Delgado.
Daniel A. Corson.
Brian Nick Daza Vigo.
Justin Liu.
Jose Fernando Binilla Bustamante.
Anders Nicholas Hyken.
Helena Vyman Lima.
Debaditya Pramanik.
Isadora Angelini Frankenthal.
Albert N. Menio.
Ritesh Kumar Das.
Remy Bassett Audain.
Frank Hochman.
Ignacio Ortega Castañeras. Aradhna Adhikari. Shane H. Lyons. Victoria Song O Young. Liam D. Fenlon.
Joe O'Connor.
Israel J. Sosa.
Henry Martin.
Joseph Daniel Edwards.
Anthony Troop.
Hector A. Castillo.
Gahui Zhang.
Raiden Yongxiang Chia.
Osvi Rodriguez.
Ajinka Kishore Nene.
Jose Antonio Mugira Iturralde.
Shreyan
Rubez Chonglu Ming.
Andrew Christopher Liu. David Wesley Anderton Young.
Catherine Oswald Balali.
Sarah Olivia Spector. Robert Silvestri. Kate Madison Pierce.
Catherine Waft.
Diana Baldwin Faust. Jessica Yen.
Claire Elizabeth Hawley.
Rolando Rodarte. An Jimenez. Ellery Rajagopal.
Zhujing Zhang. Dima Akha. Marlena B. Fauer.
Irvi Rohatki.
Valeria Rivera Deneke. Timothy O'Neill. Alexandre Budwanov. Vasily Valianopoulos. Stratton Kaufman. Johann Stephen Villanueva Gutierrez.
Wuya Huang Lee.
Mateo Correa Aricapa.
Shi Chen Lee.
Courtney Bryn Sawyer.
Jia Wen He.
Maya C. Lati.
Renjie Zhang.
Evan Pasco.
Kong Xiao Lee.
Emma Rose Kelly.
Jung In So.
Gabrielle Finier.
Dalma Foldeshi.
Patrick Ryan.
Christina Solis.
Allegra Jade Berger.
Cheyenne Jacqueline Lewis Vandevoorde.
Tessa Jean Gustafson.
Gustavo Carlos Casalduc Rivera.
Nathaniel Joseph Cruz Walma.
Nicholas Harris.
Elizabeth Rickman. Lisa Pang. Rachel Shulan Fuchs. Deborah H. Wen. Alize Shun. Lua Jung Kong. Claire Yin.
Magnolia Chen.
Sheil V. Patel. Amir Goldberg Kidon.
Cody Durr.
Gabrielle Joyce Heffernan.
Paul Rue.
Angeline Claire Jakes.
Brad Levin.
Emily Mary Whitbeck.
Oliver Himes.
Kevin Allen Marblestone.
Evan M. Kim.
Dennis Stephen Kosovac.
Grant Four.
Catherine Lee.
Christian Ji Ren Hua.
Molly Mason.
Nelson Muno.
Nathaniel Joseph Elberfeld.
Anurag Gola.
Maria Esteban Casañas.
Michael Zhao.
Michael Stradley. David James Amiro. Anna Vasiliou.
Gerardo Morona.
Manoj K. Mishra. Aditya H. Gandhi.
Babette Josephine Christine Pepin.
Natalie Woods. Lillian Marie Agarup. Rishab Mittal. Dominic Jeffrey Nutile.
Jack Curtis Zellman.
Demi Lin Fang.
Hao Chung Ye. Michael David Jennings. Chen Zi Tao. Sami El Khoury. Shu Wen Wang. Pauline Chiare. David Alexandre Njendong.
Harrison K. Wong.
Rachel Pei Hirsch.
Jason Liu.
Albert Richard Caputo.
Stephen X. Liu.
Luciana Bueno Gomez.
Thomas Sean.
Elena Briones.
Sarah Dohed Walla.
Amene Fadei.
Amy T. Jin.
Blanca Foncilas.
Harveer Singh Mahajan.
Dung Fong Wong.
Marcus Wultenberg. Eskild Jørgensen.
Yimeng Zhu.
Eivind Loftus Bjørndal.
Paolo Privitera. Marius Mello. Joseph Domino.
Dextina Booker.
Puru Pawar.
Juliet Wanjiru Wanyiri. Shuang Ji. Emily Jane Chu.
Carl Kweku Day.
Jennifer Lung.
Srinivas Kumar Atipali.
Hong Ling Chen. Yasmin Chavez.
Shi Jin Pu.
Mikel Farre Gomez. Alexander Jerome Sandberg.
Rania Kadan. Namun Puravdorj. Matthew Jacob Ledwidge.
Shi Chi Peng.
Eitan Levy.
Yi Yang. Piyush Verma. Ching Guo.
Manish Singh.
Yao Yue Chu.
Jesus Guillermo Herrera Arcos.
Danielle F. Espinosa.
Vipasha Mittal.
Bautista Gal.
Sharon Raja.
Luis Hong Sanchez. Tala Munir Al-Najdawi.
Nicholas Antonio Salinas.
Gina Gerhardt.
Swochanda Stresta.
Elizabeth Shri Raman Grubbs.
Johan Cervantes.
Gabriela Isabel Lamas Oporto.
Grace Shu.
Shaikot Banerjee.
A. Tun.
Alexandra Katrina Zytek.
Hong Tao Hua.
Jules Dreen.
Jing Chao Feng. Mustafa Toa Duan.
Valentina Ansola.
Mahmoud Seri. Chen Chen Liu. Abdel Rahman Ayman Asman Hefni. Han Jiao Li. Sharif Al-Halafawi. Hui Li Song. Yu Chen Yvonne Cao.
Cao Zhang.
Brett Elgersma.
Meishi Chen.
Amber Van Hemmel.
Suyong Huang.
Christoph Friedrich Hermann.
Rahul Yasantharo.
Matthew James William Dale.
Vanshika Jane.
Wasim Awad.
Sujay Kazi.
Dang Ti Hong.
Sai Samir Kusapati.
Hu Shue Fang.
Luke Chi.
Itai Himmelfarb.
Joyce Fang.
Corinne Weinstock.
Yi Young.
Hadar Greater Ben Ari.
Dong Young Lee.
Matan Ravid.
Jacqueline S. Chen.
Jonathan Goldfarb.
Tianyu Lua.
Victor Lafuente Aceituno. Ramon Elias Weber. Steve Tuacum Lionel.
Mariana Liebman Pelaez.
Yan Wang.
Sharu Sharma.
Vijay Krishnan.
Nikhilesh Kanta. James Allen Vassa.
Elena Machaidza.
Rebecca A. Augustine.
Samarth Gupta.
Eric Satoff.
Uyosa Mark Oriaki. Julie Poulet. Meng Fu Kuo. Abigail Joanne Smith. Jude L. Mabsout. Robert Hall Tran. Melissa Gutierrez Soto. Alexander Poppin.
Mong Chi He.
Xavier Paul Lister Lavenier.
Chehun Wu.
Nicholas Pierre Myers.
Shiyu Zhu.
Karen Marie Tilley.
Marissa Conchetta Waddell.
Miguel Angel Huidor.
Lindsay Torres.
Leonardo Escudero Torres.
Peter Wooford.
Daniel Aaron O'Hara. Timothy Justin Cardona. Aaron Greenwald. Sam Inns. Ricardo Bravo Gomez. Kevin C. Carlson. Angelica Maria Lizarazo Cuellar. Cowboy R. Link. Nicholas James Bolt. Osmani L. Cortiguera. Ying Zhou. Rishab Isher.
Vegan Sagesti.
Jody Jiaming Huang.
Valentina Nicola Videva Dufresne.
Alejandra Navarro Reyes.
Melinda Ann Kreisman.
Tam Bao Min Wen.
Camilo Ginas.
Dong Jun Lee.
Jane Rebecca Allard.
Chemutai Coach Long At.
Marjorie Cass.
Ananti Ratnam.
Angel Fu.
Mark Banner.
Yang Tang.
Adeyemi Oluwaseun Paul Taiwo. Lindsay Lorraine Calderon. Thomas John Kalatasti. Harshita Sriram Iyer. Mohiuddin Khan.
Jane Knox Liu.
Sebi Abdul Rahman Salim. Samuel Ross Waterbury.
Amulya Panyam.
Jordan Luft. Joseph Mark Abai de Vera. Ernesto Gadja. Satoshi Mitsuishi. David Anthony Matza.
Saffron Tuesday, DC.
Catherine Jean Sol.
Dylan Zhang.
Sahil Vivek Joshi. Caleb Richardson. Larissa Cavalcanti. Federico Pescati. Ajay Siva Rayasam.
Emily L. Larson.
Jiani Zheng.
Lucy Wang.
Cheryl Chen.
Lauren O. Yantan Lee. Divya Kadapa. Jason Kung. Jessica Wang.
Ethan Sit.
Amanda Dang.
Stuart C. Jamieson.
Emily A. O'Rourke.
Justin P. Restivo.
Hannah Adams.
Thomas R. Nelson.
Kumani W. Ntoe Bankam.
Liam M. Green.
Demar Robin Fernandez Edwards.
Samantha M. Leff.
Krithi Jane. Nathan C. Wong. Anthony A. Soledad.
Richa Ramesh Naik.
Danielle Emscore Proctor.
Lok Yi Melody Mui.
Olivia Claire Goldman.
Amy Yaji Shim.
Nan No. Ciao.
Julia Whitney Clark.
Lee Jia Tan.
Sebastian Lopez Cott.
Danielle Ballesta Quintana.
Anthony Bo Pang.
Isioma Osubor. Nadia Salahuddin. Sarah Aisha Qureshi. Emma L. Griffiths. Miller Tan. Deanna I. Hernandez. Kai Burchard. Ray Hiralal Didia. Melissa Klein. Yu Liu. Isam Harani.
Derek List.
Yinghua Hua.
Felix Dumont.
Shane Shui Ying Zhang.
Emily Shia.
Se Hun Kim.
Brendan Yap.
Jerry Sikora. Kyoko Murayama. Arash Arbabi. Aditi Chada.
Mira Partha.
Jason Santillan Fausto.
Lisbeth Delator.
Thomas Benavides.
Brandon Lamb.
Shikhar Jagadish. Matthew Bradford. Fan Francis Wong.
Lu Lu.
Nisal Ovitigala.
Sandeep Mathur.
Maya Nigrin.
Jesus Madrid. Aleix Paris E. Bordas. Andrew Lee Min. Mengjie Liu. Colleen Copley. Alejandro Leon Jimeno Sanz. Adam R. Buchenbach. Jaime Garcia Gonzalez. Alessandro Silvestro. Joaquin Vizquert Pitarch. Enrique Ribeiro Carreche. Mateo Gobi. Laura Silvana Ajege Lara. Alessandro Conti. Emilio Dolci. Matteo Lanaya. Liam Charles Sharkey. Duani Mehta. Venkat Pandaru.
TK Shimojo.
Chi Wei Kong.
Claire Hersig.
Yi Xin Liu.
Camila Nunes Mateo.
Mihir Kambete.
Dylan Ford Wiesner.
Aditya Singh.
Chanel Nicole Herring.
Albert Ria.
Dana Meckler.
Brian Chen.
Randall Markish.
Nicholas Guo.
Farzan Subhani.
Erica Chu.
Shayna Servilis.
Lillian Bu.
David Wenxiang Su.
Anton Cow.
William Jeffrey Winiger.
Renbin Liu.
Shovik Das.
Gabriel L. Mintzer.
Ruo Ping Shi.
Badi Atia.
Claire Lin.
Bibek Pandit.
Grace Gu.
Yasim Rana.
Yi Liu.
Long Bin Pan.
Shi Ying Xiang.
Preston Matthew Chin.
Ivan Tadeo Ferreira Antunes Filho.
Nikos Stathas.
Jeffrey Lewis Tedmori.
Miles Ross Johnson.
Don Joe
Autumn
Xiang.
Guile. Laura N. Dodds.
Kushal Puri.
Agnes Villanyi.
Christopher Stephen Willis.
Noah Schwartz.
Rukmini Sarkar. Olivia J. Yao. Jan Boyeldieu. Emma Bernstein. Catherine Marie Sherrill. Sophie Fisher. Yi Lin Te. Maxwell Joshua Drake. Randy Stein. Lauren Rose Maggiore. Ali Said Aurais. Ariel Sky Levy. Audrey Bazergi. Izumi C. de los Rios Cobara, Arturo Rique, Anushka Bose, Matias Sali,
Alexander J. Root,
Francisca Riquelme Finner.
Anderson Tran,
Mauro Jose Granese Rosselli,
Nathan Liang,
Augusto Siguero Güemes,
Dai Yao Zhang,
Javier Dante Rena,
Jackie Chin,
Sarah Mary Hakens Klarsek,
Huang T. Din,
Ronnie Neumann,
Sophia Goulet,
Christian Michael Stegman,
Amber Kim,
Carolina Vergara,
Chelsea Hodgkins,
Felipe Ángel Macia,
Daniela Coco Beltrame,
Juliana Zapata Ramirez, Vanessa Toro Barragan, Brian Cortez, Marissa Renee Prasi,
Gabriela Romero Garibay.
Emmett McKinney, Emily Shao, Adam Alon,
Antonio Federico.
Rhett Marville James,
Jose Luis Valdovinos Larragain,
Mish Zucker,
Jose Samuel Bolaños Arceo,
Samra Brooke Lacau,
Antoine Nutius,
Kenyatta Theda McLean,
Lorraine Felix,
Carl Gunnar Hedman,
Paul Delanois,
Tanaya Srinivasakrishnan,
Vaibhav Chandak,
Zachary Wayne Avery,
Lucas Bujaudi,
Stephen Migliore Erdman,
Marcus Imbert,
Dylan Christopher Halpern,
Eliza Kokar,
Flor Elizabeth Garza,
Andres Insunza Besio, Yuki Soeda, Fernanda Seoane Mañasco,
Henry Hu,
Carla Cafici,
Lonnie Lee,
Luis Eduardo Torres Robles,
Cecilia Chu,
Gabriela Margain Garza,
Landon Chu,
Paola Escandon Rosso,
Lian Yu,
Hugo Lopez Velarde, Vishali Gadhok,
Afifa Kazi Sayed,
Elvis Shehu,
Herbert Nuagaba,
M. L. Ujwal,
Alexander Y. Young,
Vlad Schreibman,
Srishti Gupta, Mariana Garcia Valdecasas Dorrego, Jia Wei Jiang, Guillermo Larrucea,
Diego Fernandez Briseño,
Hirsch Lakdawala,
Danielle Smitchka,
Avery Alchek,
Ian Duncan Bradley,
Divya Raghavan, Alessandro Mellini, David Sawyer, Depayan P. Ghosh, Ruhani Arya, Robert Lindeen de la Fuente, Arwa Abdullah El Bahadi, Armando Ignacio Flores Mendoza,
Alex Herrera,
Emiliano Conti,
Iris Abarantes Morales,
Santiago Clara,
Victor M. Reyes Espinosa,
Felipe Jorquera,
Jason Jesus Tang,
Talia Quijano Mulanovic,
Avital Weinberg,
Franz Hudbalger,
Judy Fussman,
Jorge Castillo Lezama,
Hai Viet Quoc Nam Nu Liu,
Jose Montero,
Nancy Yu,
Nicolas Peña Fiel,
Christina Chang Ho,
Federico dos Santos,
Brian Yi, Martin Iyen Barail,
Tasuda Siri Re Pipat,
Luis Fernando Castro Lozana,
Chanya Pranich,
Diego Toledo,
Dixon Lee, Hai Yin Chun, Young Soo Luke Kwon, Matt Vincent Louis Emschwiller, Bamlak Gesesu, Chung Min Lee, Zidane Abubakar, Javier Trevino Ruiz, Kibar Mosisa Geleta,
Cole Linus,
Mati K. Alamayu,
Joshua G. Padilla,
Roderick Sterndale Bayless,
Salam Ali,
Brett C. Samuels,
Benjamin Koenig,
Talal Saad Azhari,
Emily Skilling,
Maya Haddad,
Aiden Driscoll.
Rakan Jalal Husni Bey, Olamide Christopher Adiosen, Jeremy Obadja, Ni Pan, Felix Nicolaus Oblin, Ang Chi Hao, Eric Hadife,
Austin Iglesias Saragi,
Theo Maurice,
Ornipa Vangazamjit,
Redolfe Doyan,
Paulo Sergio Franza de Souza Jr.,
Carlo Daniele Urbano,
Mauricio Moreno Sanchez Briseño,
Sarah Ishamudin,
Lyra Agarwal,
Emily New,
Kushagra Sri Gupta, Audas Nakashimana, Brandon E. Kramer, Ethan J. Weber, Neil Kumar Das,
Eric D. Tsian,
Jeremy Bellotti,
Christopher Chung,
Carolina Alejandra Concebat.
Eric Jiang.
Saley Kanyile Lynch. Ashish Kumar.
Hao Quan Luo.
Xiao Ying Tan.
Sonia Marlena Riley.
Jialu Tan.
Nolan Matthew Riley.
Avinash Gulabrao Gorpade. Amanda Putnam. Badrul Bilal. Eber Nolasco Martinez. Siddharth Bajpai. Verena Hale. Gokul Prasad Rajamanikam. Stefan Schmidt. Yudong Chen.
Aparna Pandey.
Maria Fernanda Reyes Castillo.
Nobia Caversan.
Alice Joe. Kara F. Luo. Rebecca Hyun-ji Shin. Avery B. Lamp. Adriana E. Amaro. Carla Pinson. Jack Novak. Erica J. Yun.
Trang Liu. Anurag Singh.
Danyal Rahman.
Mia Hong.
Mohammed Ayad A. Al-Rished.
Monisha Pushpanathan.
Tony Tome.
Afra Ansaria.
Pratik Kalakuntla.
Gulsagar Jasar.
Cindy X. Yang. Pranav Lalgudi. William Wu. Manning Chur. Paulo Adahar.
Ruo Chen Hao.
Jessica Yen.
Somet Sharma.
Baining Chong.
Hai Bean Wick.
Shannon Wu.
Oguchuku Gloria Bello Osagi.
Johnny Bowie.
Udi Rosenhand.
Liam Conboy.
Leonore Xavier.
Lucy Rushi Lee.
Angelica Stolte.
Megan Elizabeth Davis.
Sadaf Hajra Sayed.
Andrea Badillo.
Kara Maureen Davis.
Fidelia Gaba.
Paul Meyerling. Virginia Sun.
Tracy Aim.
Stephanie M. Hu. Oriane Kushar. Pankuri Sen. Israel Lopez Jimenez.
Julia Wagner.
Christian Gates.
Lucia Yi Chai.
Vishal Prakash Patil. Chi Ya Chung. Robin Elliott.
Chi Sui Jeremy Keck. Akshata Krishnamurti. Rose Elizabeth Wong.
Antonio Terran Espinosa.
Jeremy Charles Cowell. Leonardo Elias.
Luke Bastian.
Xu Chao Yu.
Nicholas Domingo Ignacio.
Guanghe Li.
Stefan Wan.
Mei Lin John.
Austin Gadiant.
Di Jin.
Sari Choi. Prashant Jaya Tarachand Patil. Kelly Jiang Sundeep Kumar Jolly. Mien Brabiba Wang. Matthew Eli Carney. Tian Chung Yu. Philippa Motherson. Damian Barabankov. Sunanda
Tian.
Sharma.
Sunanda Shrama.
Jingshuan Fan. Benjamin Arthur Phillips Bloomberg.
Ji Lin. Natalie Lau. Roy Song Chen. Tianxiang Liu. Linsen Li.
Artem Dementiev.
Liana Riley.
John Lee Thompson Peebles.
Karen Wen.
Madeline Kendall Youngs.
Tatum Ogata.
Swan Lian Tuong.
Joshua Jesse Kwabna Amenium Pong.
Pie Phil.
Kamoya Korede Ikofwa.
Karin Ipkyan Chong.
Leilani Trotman.
Ivana Lubomirova Dimitrova.
Catherine Irene Nelson.
Paul Nicholas Jepson.
Chloe Ayers.
David Donghim Kim.
Jason Tate Yasai Agraan.
Gina Danielle Mala. Jonathan Stefan Brown.
Bernardo Cervantes.
Cecilia Elena Siqueiros.
Luis Ruben Soingsen Martinez. Elton Lin.
Agni Urfanudaki.
Leanne E. Moricol.
Aaron William Bikema.
Samantha Delonzo.
Irina Mahmad Rasid.
Madeline R. Michael.
Corey J. Kaminsky.
Sheila Kennedy Moore.
Xingang Zhao.
Hannah Mahaffey.
Guillaume Chaussier.
Kaylee Allen.
Matthias Freiherr von Andrian Werberg. Philip Kim Tran.
Hirsch Vurdan Sureka.
Ahan Rungta.
Antonio Barberio.
Olutumalehin O. Amatunde.
William Christopher Records.
Stephen Young.
Samuel Walter Winslow.
Alejandro Daniel Lino Diaz.
Kimberly Tom Din.
Aaron Andres Garza.
Colin Grambo.
Benjamin Rodriguez.
Ki Ju Sung.
Leanne Stephanie Galanick.
Wang Jian Shu.
Margaret Ying Zhang.
Terry Ghani.
Timothy Zavarella.
Derek Gaston.
Ivana Alardine.
Adam Ting Yang Kwang.
Maggie Ching Zhang.
Etienne Demarley.
Felix Enrique Chavez Cruz.
Michael John Acton.
Ashwin Nivas Data.
Sabrina M. Newman.
Francisco Acosta Ikazuriaga.
Samuel James Raymond.
Uriel Magana Salgado.
Mohammed Cindy.
Alonso Salas Infante.
Alicia Viridiana Samudio Montes de Oca.
Danielle Gonzalez Diaz.
Lou Bollier Larache.
Alberto J. Navera.
Bashar Hamza. Kentaro Tanaka. Ang Andy Tu. Arlene Elizabeth Siswanto. Trevor Vincent Nikeza. Lucy Lee.
Sebastian Palas.
Nancy Liu. Jennifer Kim Tu Nguyen. Grant Tyler Gregus.
Cherry Gao.
Massimo Augustine.
Jane Yoon Young Chui.
Daniel Guo. Zi Wang. Richard Yi. Amy Xian Zhang. G.R. Marvez. Li Jing. Sarah Maluna Sime.
Jun Young Richard Park.
Remy Godinez. Aniwa Tirala. Abiti G. Vesh.
Michael Petri.
Barbara Cavalconci Jaime. Jetson Leader Luis. Gabriela Casares. Nathan Gaspar Zorzi. Julian R. Gomez. Pre-Tinder Garcha. Luke Hartnett. Yafei Han. Byron Shu. Tao Huang Wen. Calvin Shu.
Ashley Kaiser.
Luo Chua Chang.
Xin Chen Ni.
Hung Sun Yu.
Reed Allen Kopp.
Daryl Ho.
Everyone, I need to make a brief announcement. We'll return to the names reading in just a moment. We'd like to let you know that because in a couple of hours there will be thunderstorms headed our way, the Briggs Field lunch location is closing. The alternate for you in a little bit, but please do not head to Briggs Field at this time. Thank you.
Jiawei Zhou.
Samuel Dorchuk.
Hui Tao Shen.
Abigail Moser.
Boy Fan.
Idai Olivas Olguin.
Edward Lee Pang.
Megan Camille Flynn.
Arthur Huang.
Rudy Cow.
Benjamin Mark Sherman,
Joshua Gruenstein,
Junwon Choi,
Tommy Rearink,
Chong Yab Beck,
Holly Ann Reaping,
Sun Ho Kim,
Willem Lawrence Rearink,
Young Ki Song,
David Onyemaluque,
Joseph Johnston,
Ermi Mustafi,
Seong Ro,
Jordan Alford,
Mariam Ariakbar Pur,
Yate Richardson,
J.D. Sirkar,
Jade N. Talley,
Anirudh Chiti,
Jonathan A. Sampson,
Andrew Patrick Turner,
Juan Sebastian Esquivel Gutierrez,
Sergio Cant.
Kelton Hardrict Jr.,
Marjan H. Mulai,
Roman Mark Stolyarov,
Daniel Banks, Brandon Lashinsky, Rebecca Lynn Holden, Arwa Abdullah Al-Ankari, Anthony James Cordovaro,
Rian Flynn,
David Mikulescu,
Anne Marie Y. Wong,
Leishin Ma,
Shuyan Yin,
Albert Wu,
Emily E. Zhang,
Chihui Chen,
Shi Ha Cho,
Yanpu He,
Han Rui Wong,
Jitan,
Akshay Agarwal,
Benjamin L. Bennington,
Che Ying Chao,
Hayden Woods Stalter,
Isabel Wenting Su,
Julian T. Vieira,
Marianne Acker,
Hunter K. Celio,
Judith Amores Fernandez,
Samuel Joe Gantman,
David Alvarez Melis,
Tyler D. Ray,
Surma Urgich,
Keithan Shepard,
Lucas Merman,
Mason Dumay,
Tal Wagner.
Charles McGaw,
Martin Saveski,
Mark Wright,
Michiel Bucker,
Jeannie Harabedian,
Asma Gandehoriun,
Ben Delis,
He Yon Lee,
Amanda Garofalo,
Dennis Shen,
Brittany Lauren Sachs,
Hyuk Jun Kwan,
Joyce No,
Gabriel Schneider,
Emma Majorsack,
Emilio Ochoa Sison,
Grace Moore,
Patroklos N. Stefanu, Daniela Samira Ma Mary, Tim Krall, Joshua Aaron Knoll, Johnny Reese, Kayla A. Holman, Aiden N. Westley, Boca Edskis, Shay Annalise Landine, Samantha Johanna Fletcher, Edward Joseph Weldon, Wan Ching Ho, Clyde E. Hubrex, Ka Wing Fong, Jeremy R. Knoll,
Not T. Cam, Not T. Cam Nguyen,
Stephen R. Timberman, Stephanie McConnell, Michael Kalinsky, Monique Claire Davy, David Zackheim,
Cha Jui Zhou, Rami Rustam, Andrea Lowe,
Ziad Mansour,
Kaylee DeSoto,
Felipe Radovitsky,
Sergio Quadra,
Montana Riley.
Shantanu Jacate,
Mercedes Melissa Clark Riley,
Antonella Massini Ortiz,
Claire O'Callahan.
Daniel Leon Jimenez,
Rowan T. Chung,
Cecilia Alessandra Luna,
Lowen Cable.
Yogeshwar Avinash Velinkar,
Yi Jong Cho.
Shreyas Balaji,
Thierry Von A,
Talia Khan,
Nikolai Georgiev Georgiev,
Julian Alejandro Hernandez,
Joanna Zay.
Michelle N. Sanchez, Logan S. Stafford,
Kyle Morgenstein,
Jadorian J. Paul,
Maya Rebecca Berlinger, Daniel Rafter, Hillary Sophia Vogelbaum, Yu Cheng Ju, Carolyn K. Johns, Suji Balf, Abigail J. Lee,
Wilson Gomarga,
Arjun R. Gupta, Zhao Yuan Zhang, Danielle K. Gleason, Madison Lee, T. T. Bui,
Francesca Machiavello Chauvi,
Jasmine McGee, Daniel A. Taylor, Jocelyn McGee, Brandon A. Aranda Ocampo,
Ryan Mancia,
Erica P. Minio, Ravi Rahman, Ahmad Mujtaba Gibran, Colt S. Hermish,
Jennifer Chinghan Yu,
Thomas John Stry III, Trevor Spreadbury, Warner McGee,
William A. Arch.
Daniel G. Gonzalez Cunningham,
Christina Chen,
Thomas Eisman Urquhart,
Rogerio Aristida Guimares Jr.,
Thomas S. Rick,
Diane Rolim Carhaval.
Ryan Flores.
Carolina Ortega Perez.
Nicholas William Janovitz.
Christian Georgiev.
Jin Ming Wang.
Gisela Maria Redondo Gonzalez.
Maxwell Peter Maritado.
Praneeth Gurumurthy.
Aaron Ricardo Perez Lopez. Asia Hipsher.
Tojumi Olua Sijibomi Adegboyega.
Flora M. Kleiss.
Eob W. Wolde-Gabriel. Angela Lua Adebola Fayemi. Elaine Jiang.
Nicholas Pape.
Tatsuya Warren Daniel.
Lynn Rogers.
Emily Mallison.
Sucharita Manyala.
Nicholas Ahrens.
Henry Huey.
Chiaki Louise Kirby. Hannah Slaminski. Kayla Tab. Shelley Claire Chan.
Nicholas Ryan Bonaker. Connor Sweeney. Aaron Kogan. Jacob Phillips. Agata Bikovseva. Margaret E. Sullivan.
Shutsi Loa.
Sridevi Kaza. Audrey Wang. Jocelyn Isabel Lutzi.
Ike Ching Zhang.
Phoebe Spear.
Ankita Singh.
Renee Elizabeth Shebler.
Shi Chao O.
Molly Humphreys.
Sin Kai Chan.
Elizabeth Jane So.
Shansuke Kribayash.
Oluwaseun E. Ogunde.
Nitin Tekobadam Narayanan.
Justin Hole.
Raymond S. C.
Gabriel de los Santos Schwartz.
Nicha Korn Tangsata Porn Panich.
Kevin Yua.
Daniel A. Wang.
Cecil M. Gregg IV.
Hunter A. Smutney.
Catherine Huang.
Kevin Jung.
Scott Edward Perry.
Alan Liu.
Sung Hyun Brianna Ko.
Gabriel K. Lee.
Shi Ching Wang. Uliana Peterbarg. Ivy Y. Huang. Kaya Willis. Alexander Felix Gu. James M. Abel. Lisa Y. Yu. Dominic Rosario Maggio. Alexis M. Schneider. Now Tui Min Le. Ria Das. Tao Din. Wen Hao Wang.
Julia Fiksinski.
Joshua Kevin White.
Laura Z. Liao.
Wakanene Sebastian Kamau.
Raul Alexander Largaspada.
Nikita Obedin.
Babatunde Ogunlade.
Adarsh Kashav S. Jiwaji.
Russell Anthony Ramos Pacetas. Swarna Kushmanda Anjanita Jiwaji. Alyssa Lee. Patricia Liu. Jerry Fang. Muskand Agarwal. Crystal Tin Tin Chang. Diana J. Flores. Meryl S. Wang. Hannah S. Chen. Andrea Jessica Jabba. Ebenezer Samuel. Prachi Sinha. Kathy Fan Wen.
Christy Willard.
Sydney Alexandra Wong.
Tony Marcette.
Jennifer Nguyenyi.
Aviva Tova Kozansky.
Brianna Rose McCrae.
Cosmo Valentino.
Andrea A. Bolivar Matos.
Kate Yuan.
Andrea Garmilla.
Julia Pei.
Raimundo Rodriguez.
Kavin Junsakun Rutirek.
Kaylee Alexandra Irian Talbot.
Alessandro Scudari.
Ethan Rolland.
Emily Kai.
Andrew Kraus.
Ramya Nagarajan.
Zachary T. Roberts.
Stella Lan Young. Nicole Dawson Thuma. Daniel Shu Feng Sun. Leah McKinney. Michael D. Detien. Josephine Yu. Marwa Al-Alawi. Katharina Constance Mangan. Kevin Limonta.
Megan Kennedy Montgomery.
Adam B. Estes.
Derek Christensen.
Samer Awali.
Belma Arduan Haug.
Fernando Gonzalez Hill.
Angelica Odilia Bojorquez Aispuro. Valerie Muldoon. Anais Ortega Camacho. Luis Terrones Verástegui. Sarah Viviana Gallo Orjuela.
Renee Tibe Silva.
Jamaica Baltazar Brillante.
Rachel T. McIntosh.
Annalise Cabrera Hernandez.
Caitlin R. Downey.
Santiago Botero Lopez.
Lucas M. Arthur.
Pedro Quiros.
Nicholas Freitas.
Drew Bard Varges.
Catherine Wicks.
Mongpei Chen.
Matthew Turner.
Mohammed Salman Chowdhury.
Alex Craig.
Sadia Rahman Shati.
Quan Wei Huang.
Lisha Moreland Yangali Del Pozo.
Samantha R. Miller.
Abhinav Goyal.
Parker Jansen Bass.
Nikhil Ganapati.
William Barber. Shuleh Kahraman. Cameron R. Burnett. Quentin Wellens. Brennan H. Rosales. Ye Jin Yo. Vedant Paul Kukadia. Julia Pallone. Aidan James Einloth.
Brian Ong Wen Si.
Robert C. DeLaus.
Xiaoyin Zhang.
Connor P. Bradley.
Lucas Frederick Jacob Brink.
Charles John Notice. Cadence Bree Payne. Adam Gombardo. Michael Schmid. Francis E. McCann Ramirez.
Alessia DeVito.
Van Rayner Kuykendall.
Diana O'Connor.
Cole S. Baker.
Jennifer Lauren Sample.
Iani Giannaris.
Ann S. Cho.
Ivy Lee.
Mark Clemens.
Alexis Camacho. Nalika Kanishka Bandara Kahawata. Vincent Liu.
Alexandra Leah Waller.
Roger Shu Jin. Emmanuel Gebrigzabere Gide.
Veda Vina Yagam Gianishan.
Anthony Kriazes.
Susanna Iacob.
Corina Vigalaki.
Muvra Kaku.
Arpan Kafle.
Rehab Rabai.
Marcos Ruben Solitaire Gamara.
Daniel Ahmed Zafir Mirza.
Wei Pavi Shah.
Ge Jong.
Daria Gutler.
Luis Hansel.
Smita Bhattacharjee.
Joseph Gus Zagrini.
Fiona Yifei Chen.
Girish Kishen Govindarajan.
Christopher Brian Womack.
Danying Xiao.
Joseph Michael Mastrandrea.
Tianhui Mao.
Charles Lindsay.
Shen Chen.
Rebecca Ann Nolan.
Amma Karantin.
Michelle Catherine Roy.
Ashti Shah. Ying-Ni Wang. Simran A. Vaidya. Ro Wang Zhang.
Jade Daher.
Yanlin Li. Habiba Noamani.
Xingyu Zhou.
Tao Huang. Yunyi Zhu. Sonia Simonovich.
Christian Schillinger.
Olga Medrano Martin del Campo.
Joshan Patel. Joshan Patel.
Kevin Williams Beauchot Castellanos.
Kevin Fang.
Benjamin G. Rowley.
Max Thompson.
Luis Edgardo Torres Rodriguez.
What did I do wrong now?
Susan Nee.
Teresa Lowe.
Kyle Higgins.
Helen Elizabeth Reed. Kifle H. Woldu. Hannah Mackay Ledford.
River C. Grace.
Emily Elliott Gray.
Helen J. Shu.
Tom McLennan Dillon.
Alice Zhang.
Emily Kamensky.
Gerardo Andres Cortez Padilla.
Cormac O'Neill.
Daniel A. Watley.
Hannah Feldstein.
Emily Hu. Pradeep Dinakar. Tian Chang Chin. Rajesh Rajan. Chen Kai Mao. Philip Schmidt. Madeline Manlin Zhang. Prashant Prasanna.
Ke Xing Chen.
Blair Otto Anneman Williams.
Yun Chao Lee.
Babu Wanyeki.
Kylie Yu.
Haley Higginbotham.
Robin Wen-Yi Lee.
Brandon A. Perez.
Abigail Janine Campbell.
Brandon Epstein.
Chun Cheng Shu.
Arnav Patel.
Adil Yusuf.
Summer Yin Ying Va.
Bruke Mesfin Kifle.
Chloe Nelson Arzuaga.
Nadia Amalia.
Victor Urventsev.
Shiying Chen.
Mikhail Yunus.
Weijia Zhang.
Nancy Yael Hidalgo.
Kayo Yoshizawa.
Gabriel Kane.
Jing Wen.
Sean Shu. Alex Renda. Lawrence L. Lee.
Michelle Alana Marzoev.
Andreas K. Kasai,
Zhenbang Chen,
Tony Tong Wang,
Zenjia Chen,
Benjamin C. Sanchez,
Allison Lenhard,
Melissa Lowton,
Valerie Hunter,
Andreas Oslaxon,
Tessa Nicole Weiss,
Matthew Ostro,
Alexis Grork, Melody C. Tan, John Farrer Robertson, Joseph R. Nozek, Violet Killy,
Anjali Illa Numbrath,
Connor Dotson,
Audrey Saltzman,
Taylor Renee Nunn,
Jae Young Jung, Stephanie Yijing Zong,
Ling Ji Mei,
Isabel Paris Chong,
Manny
Lucy
Velasco,
Yiran Chong, August Trollback,
Jerry Wei Hua Yao, Shannon Huang, Han Wen Shen, William B. Pinney, Takatoshi Yoshida,
Sabrina Liu,
Deepo Doherty,
Thomas Adibiyi,
Kevin Yu, June Ko, Yi Yuan Shi, Dana Dabusi, Samip Jain,
Tuit Pham,
Rama Venkatachari,
Mauli Abba Yvonne Peglo,
Sabira Lakhani, Jessica Tang, Xiao Yu Sharon Yen, Matthew Faryovich, Ming Hui Jensen Wu,
Jaime Nat Osuna,
Robert Mugisha Vunabandi,
Bianca Wang Polendo, Ashe Adheli, Alana Sanchez,
Shreyas Kapoor,
Alexandra Carolina Rodriguez,
Sanat Devalapurkar,
William Thomas Little IV,
Noah F. Moroz,
Kings O.D.
Aditi H. Srinivasan,
Sandy Jean Charles,
James Zhang,
Sharika Noor Hossein,
Kyriakos Metaxas,
Zaina Musa,
Akil Kana,
Andrea Adenaka Chukwu Aji,
Lokesh Batija,
Mizuhiko Fujie,
Abhishek Gupta, Kansaya Kunaratskul.
Kyle Thompson.
Suchawut Tamurapan.
Bilal Azer. Nakorn Manunpong. Bahrudin Trubalich. Kitishai Salinkalikul. Elbara Abid Adaim. Wei Ling Chang. Amro Al Sharif.
Max Raven.
Fatima Gunter Rahman.
Therese Mills.
Harith Morgan.
Joshua Verdejo. Rukeya Amir Hassoun. Caleb Amanfu.
Sally Beirudi.
Mohamedou Bella Ba.
Anna Maria Vargas.
Kennechuku Ibwanu. Yvonne Alexis Mosqueda. Yodahe K. Alimu.
Maida Marzuhi. Maya Messenger. Aisha Angela M. Guvenili. Nathan Foss. Marwa Abdul Hai. Michael Sol Silver. Miriam E. Dogar. Catherine Bacher.
Tuba Shahid.
Megan McCandless.
Moin Nadim.
Marissa L. McPhillips.
Alina Shabir.
Simon Alford.
Yada Komeha.
Skylar Brooks. Hannah Kurzai. Brian C. Bates. Jeba Sanya. Mofoluaso S. Djibouti.
Abdullah Osman.
Kevin Rodriguez.
Sami Kaya.
Raudel Hernandez.
Fawaz Shafiola. Anna Rose Osofsky.
Ben Gutierrez.
Oliver Brian Regali. Alexander Hattori. Anjali Chima. Vic Parth. Carolyn Irene Brown. Rahul Kohli. Alisa Maladina. Doron Baruch Segal.
Elnaz Azolati.
Melissa K. Graham Adamski. John Patrick Kinney IV.
Lola Camden.
Wei Shan Liao.
Tan Chui Mei. Catherine Anna Lawrence. Arjit Damodaran.
Michael Adam Liu.
Rio Kusaka.
Jitrapon Lert Prasertpong.
Masato Sugizaki. Masato Sugizaki.
Johnson Quinn.
Ryusuke Haga.
Jiahang Zhang.
Jorge Opaso.
Junsu Jiang.
Takanori Kakishita.
Elena Chong Lo Kodama.
Ye Tien.
Joanne Saoling Liang.
Sar Recruit Prutan Pontachai.
Isabella Lin Kang.
Amit Kumar.
Sharon Chow.
Yu Ichikawa.
Aaron Baskerville Bridges. Yi Che Huang. Catherine Ann Henshaw. Deepak Arora. John Ayolua Adeyeye.
Gabrielle Dakwa.
Ming Liu.
Hope Dargan.
Mary Dahl. Juliana Noriko Yamada. Emma Batson. Renata Morera Orno de Mora. Angel Alvarez. Talia Ben Sasson Gordis.
Sel Skeg.
Buroj Ajluni.
Joshua Chukwebuka Annie.
Katie Albanos. Isabel Yan Finney. Ian Jonas Elizabeth Spector. J. Hahn. Zubin Rustam Wadia. Hikari Iwasaki.
Skylar Gordon.
Viban A. Gonzalez. Evan Tay. Sanjay Ganeshan. Elizabeth Detienne. Tara Liu.
Claire M. Nord.
Yi Gong.
Corey Christopher Hickson.
Adela Y. Young.
Sohan D'Souza.
Lauren C. Clamon.
Catherine Marie Hahn.
Claire M. Trewick.
Madeline Bundy. Christopher A. Miller. Manuel Alejandro Encinas Maqueda.
Ava H. Hu.
Samuel Benjamin Chinnery. Elizabeth Weeks. Michelle Jang. Gabrielle Karen Enns. Shreyas Vignesh Srinivasan. Dylan Doblar.
Juan Surgeon.
Catherine Williams.
Pefita Augustine Cam.
Yorai Shaul.
Alfredo Martinez Guzman.
Yang Hui Lim.
Joaquin Orellana Martinez.
Aaron Brenner.
Jacqueline M. Bredenberg.
Adeline Pack.
David Teng Yi Lee.
Sabrina Madera.
Danning Chen.
Sam Sun Hun Lee.
Yixuan Fang.
Shafiq Barbar.
Ziyu Wu.
Hassan Muhammad Al Khalifa.
Zhu Ning Chao.
Sharif Abdelgayed.
Ramon Alberto Mantalini.
Sydney Vermeulen.
Pavel Lebedev.
Jiaxing Liu.
Shunak Ghosh.
Jocelyn Yao.
Yannick Burkan.
Calvin Fong.
Yongwei Zheng.
Eric Hong.
Xiaoyi Benjamin Liu.
Susie Byun.
Angad Singh Damija. Christopher Gerald Hillenbrand. Shubi Singh.
David Sargent.
Parikshit Gupta.
Tao Savani.
Audrey N. Bosquet. Emma Marie Kerwin. Mitchell L. Guillaume.
Matthew Ha.
Rui Yin Tan.
Jose Cruz Mendoza.
Feng Zhu.
Matthew Hambacher.
Miguel Ángel del Rio Fernandez.
Marcos Mollón Linares.
Irene Cho. Mona Abdelrahman. Sarah Abadallo. Sarah Marina Chong.
Aline Vargas.
Vanessa Kitova. Rupsha Bandopadhyay. Adu Obisasan. Luis Angel Gallegos.
Becca Browder.
Anna Evans. Thomas Green. Soham Parag Pawar. Dylan Toshinari Muramoto. Charles William Shimento III.
Ji Jinglin.
Kristen Catherine Cameron. Blake Evan Stimpson.
The special ceremony to honor the 2020 and 2021 graduates of the Massachusetts Institute of Technology is now concluded. I ask that you please rise and join the choraries of MIT in singing the school song.
Yes, we're stuck in syllabus.
Arise, O ye of MIT, in loyal fellowship. The future beckons unto ye, and life is full and rich. Arise and raise your glass. gone by in praise of MIT. Oh, I wish that I were back again at Tech on Boylston Street, just in my dinky uniform, so dapper and so neat. I'm crazy after calculus, I never had enough. 'Twas hard to be dragged away so young, 'twas horribly, awfully tough. Hoorah for technology, technology, ho, glorious old technology, technology, ho. Back in the days I were free from care in the ology varsity shop, with nothing to do but analyze error and anatometrical talk. The differentiation of the trigonometric powers, the constant pi that made me sigh in those happy days of old. Hoorah for technology, technology, ho, glorious old technology, technology, ho. Take me back on a special train to the glorious institute. I yearn for the inspiration of the technological tick. I tried the physical, private chapel and go back. But how I'd love to go again on a take me back to tech. La 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 la. O-N-A-S-S-A-C-H-U-S-C-T-T-S I-N-S-T-I-T-U-T-E-O-F-T-E-C-H-N-O-L-O-G-N-Y comes after G. It's the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Hey!